Martin Kane, Private Eye, starring William Gargan.
No mischief. Quiet as little mouse. Mr. Marks is coming, and we wouldn't want him to think that we were naughty now, would we? Agnes, do you hear me? Now, none of any fuss. I'll unlock the door. Just a minute, Mr. You hear me? Downstairs. Mr. Marks will be here in a few minutes. Do you hear me?
Yes, I hear you. Go away.
Are you coming downstairs?
Yes, I'm coming. But first you must go away from my door.
Mr. Marks, prompt as usual, I see.
To be anything but prompt is to be inefficient, Miss Lydia. And inefficiency costs money. So, in these days of inflation, it behoves us all not to waste one moment, 1 cent.
How true, Mr. Marks, how true. You will notice I have left one candle unlit. A small saving, but a saving nonetheless.
Very commendable, very, I'm sure. But, however, you are rather tardy in your ways of thrift. Very belated.
Ah, you have talked to the gentleman in charge of the bank?
Yes, I went to the president himself, Mr. Wilson.
And?
He's very sorry, but he is unable to grant another extension on the mortgage.
You mean he wouldn't?
His hands are tied, Miss Lydia. He has to answer to a board of directors. How is it possible for him to grant another? On what basis?
Well, we can repay the mortgage whenever we choose, Mr. Marks. Miss Lydia and I are quite well-to-do. Father saw to that.
Yes, good evening, Miss Sarah.
I'm afraid you'll have to explain our financial position to Sarah again, Mr. Marks. Her mind has been wandering of late.
Don't you say that. My mind has not been wandering. Sometimes I forget, perhaps, but it's because of my work. I have so many demands for my paintings. So many people are waiting for my paintings.
Yes. I'll tell you once more your financial status. Now, it's very vital that you listen carefully.
Oh, I will, Mr. Marks. I'll listen very carefully.
The money that your father left in trust for you and Miss Lydia and Agnes is gone.
Gone?
The last of the cash credits was spent over 10 years ago. However, I've been able to supply the three of you with food and other necessities by mortgaging this house. However, the money on that mortgage is now gone, and the bank has sent in a note of foreclosure.
Foreclosure? Why?
Because we've been unable to repay a cent to the bank, silly.
Miss Lydia, I'll thank you not to use abusive language. But, Mr. Marks, I have the money. Thousands of dollars from my paintings.
What do you propose we do in this crisis, Mr. Marks?
Well, I'm afraid that you'll have to place Agnes in an institution, Miss Lydia.
But Sarah and I have promised Father...
Yes. But now, look, we must face the facts. You have no income, and this house belongs to the bank. After next week, the three of you will have to leave here.
Leave this house? Oh, but I couldn't do that, Mr. Marks. I have my work.
Yes, Miss Sarah. You may take your painting with you.
But where would I go? I haven't set foot outside of this house since Father left us.
Yes, I've given that very, very careful thought. And I have a suggestion to make to both of you. There is a house for troubled people. It's operated by the state.
You mean an institution, Mr. Marks?
Oh, no, Miss Lydia. It's a rest home now, for distressed people like yourselves. What did I do with those papers? Oh, this is your father's will. Where are those papers? Oh, I must have left them in the car. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll go and get them.
Yeah, well, you're gone. I will sit and
Mr. Marks. Poor Agnes, how she hates to be locked in a room. I'll just go upstairs and see if I can quiet her.
You'll see that you lock her in when you leave her.
Oh, Lydia, couldn't I leave the door unlocked just once? I'm sure Agnes will be a good girl.
A hula popper, isn't it, Mr. Kane?
That's right, Sergeant. I got me a nice 6-pound walleye pipe with that baby last summer.
That's so.
6 pounds, huh?
Yeah.
You don't say so much.
Yes, I do say, and I just happen to have proof in the form of a picture.
Now, bother showing me the pictures. I wouldn't believe you could land a minnow unless I show you both the fish with my own 2 eyes.
Thank you for your confidence, pal.
Oh, you're welcome, pal.
What's this fishing here? Oh, boy, that's the greatest sport in the world. You know, the last time I went angling, I threw in the hook, and, brother, I caught a whopper.
Well, I'm sorry to be rude, Captain, but I'm going to get the bass, the pike. I better be on my way, huh?
Where do you plan to fish, Mr.
Oh,
Kane?
I'm going up in the country, up maybe as far as Lime Lake.
Lime Lake, great Scott, that reminds me why I'm here. We've got a job to do in Lime Lake, Sergeant.
But Lime Lake isn't in our jurisdiction, Captain.
I know, but Missing Persons wants us to check with a local lawyer up there, an old bird by the name of Marks. It seems that he called on a client about 3 days ago, and he hasn't been heard from since. Come on, let's get rolling.
Hey, wait for me, Captain. You can give me a hitch there, boy. While you're investigating a lawyer, I'll probe that lake for a fish dinner, huh?
Come
so
on.
long, Hap.
So long. My, oh, my, what a tough life that Marty leads.
Come along, Sarah. Don't be such a slowpoke.
I'm coming, Lydia, I'm coming. Be careful. Agnes, don't trip and hurt yourself, dear. One more step. Be careful now.
Get away from her.
There, darling. Now you sit right over here and be a good girl. Now you can see everything if you're very quiet. Mind you, not a sound. My door, Lydia.
Yes, they've come.
Oh, dear. What shall we do?
Let them in, of course. Come along, Sarah.
Ah, what a bust this trip has turned out to be.
Yeah.
The next time I take your advice about which road to follow,
I'm
Sergeant.
terribly sorry, Captain. I felt certain I knew a shortcut to Lime Lake.
6 hours to travel less than 200 miles. Why didn't you speak up, Kane?
And interfere with the police department? Oh, never.
Well, at least it's encouraging to find Mr. Marks' car parked out there.
Well,
Yes?
I'm Captain Burke at the police department. Is this the Sloan home?
This is the Sloan house, and I am Lydia Sloan.
Oh, well, a man by the name of John Marks has been reported missing, and we're looking for him.
Is he here, Miss Sloan?
Yes, Mr. Marks is here. Won't you come inside?
Thank you.
Thank you.
By the way, this is Sergeant Ross and Mr. Martin Kane.
How do you do? How do you do?
My sister, Sarah Sloane, gentlemen.
How do you do?
How do you do?
Hello.
Now, perhaps you'll take us to Mr. Marks?
Of course. Please follow me. Please, you're on my way, Sarah. This is where you will find Mr. Marks, gentlemen.
Where?
In the trunk.
Trunk. Good heavens.
Mutilated by a knife. Beyond recognition.
All right, lady. Now let's get straight to this. Who's responsible for that?
My sister, Agnes.
Don't, Captain. You mustn't hurt Agnes. It would be wicked. She couldn't help what she did. She's really a good girl, really.
You better get your sister out of there, Miss Sloane.
Without that knife.
Agnes. Come on, get her out, Sarah. Agnes, get her out.
Agnes, darling, come out, dear. No one will hurt you. Now, don't be a naughty girl. We have company. Give Sarah the knife, dear. That's it. No, let the nice man have the knife. I'll find you another one.
Take her up to her room, Sarah. Be sure you lock her in this time.
Come on, Agnes, dear. We'll explore your room. Perhaps we can find something to amuse us. A spider or an ant.
A spider or an ant. Nice playthings.
Yes.
Agnes is rather eccentric about living things, Captain. She enjoys destroying spiders and ants. She pulls off their legs. She had a kitten once. She strangled it.
Planning to do a little excavating, Miss Sloane?
Sarah and I were about to bury poor Mr. Marks. We felt it was the proper thing to do.
Well, didn't it occur to you that the police department might be interested in this murder?
Murder?
Yeah.
Mr. Marks was not murdered, Captain. It was an unfortunate accident. Agnes is not responsible for what she does.
Well, why didn't you call the police, Miss Sloane?
Why should I? Sarah and I knew the police would come here eventually. Besides, we have not got a telephone in our home.
You have neighbors, you know.
I'm afraid I don't know, Mr. Kane. You see, I have not been outside this house since Father died. Neither has Sarah.
Let's get out of this morgue. All right, you can tell us the whole story upstairs.
Oh, as you say, Captain, as you say.
Agnes, now you mustn't make a fuss, dear. Lydia said you were to be locked in your room. After what happened this afternoon, we wouldn't want to disobey Lydia again now, would we? After all, she is the only...
Shortly after tea, gentlemen, Mr. Marks complained of feeling a little ill. My sister and I persuaded him to lie down here on this couch. Each of us went to our rooms. After a little while, I heard a scream. It was Mr. Marks. When we rushed in here, Agnes was bending over him, the knife still in her hand.
Any idea why she did it?
Agnes is very violent in her likes and dislikes, Mr. Kane. She disliked Mr. Marks.
Why, dear Agnes should take such a dislike to our good Mr. Marks, I really can't say. Perhaps it's because Agnes is a little strange.
Yeah. You can say that again, sister.
Well, if you will excuse me, gentlemen, I must get some supper for Agnes. Can I get you anything?
Oh, no, thank you.
And you, Mr. Kane?
Oh, no thanks. I just ate.
And you, Captain?
No thanks,
Tell me, Miss Sarah, why didn't you phone the police when all this happened?
Oh, dear me. I couldn't leave the house, Mr. Kane. Never. Not unless Lydia left with me.
Are you two that inseparable, Miss Sarah?
If you mean, am I bound to my sister through a sense of devotion, the answer is no, Sergeant. I despise Lydia.
Oh.
When Father died, Lydia wanted his room for herself. Only I returned home first from the funeral. The room has been mine ever since. All mine. If I left the house, Lydia would take it from me. She might even destroy my paintings.
Oh, you paint?
Oh, my, yes, Sergeant. I'm a very famous painter. The whole world knows and loves me. Surely you've seen my wonderful work at the National Art Gallery?
Why, yes, of course, Miss Sarah.
Well, we'll be leaving you now, sister, but we'll send some men back to pick up Mr. Marks.
Oh, how kind of you, Captain. You know, I simply hate digging.
You hate digging. Well, you tell Miss Lydia that I'm holding you two responsible for the custody of your sister Agnes. That is until they send someone from the state asylum to get her.
You're not going to put Agnes in an institution, are you, Captain?
Well, now, that's not up to me, lady. But I can tell you this much. Your sister Agnes will either end up in an institution for the criminally insane or in the electric chair. Come on, let's get out of here. Well, how about it, Marty? You coming?
I'll be right with you, Captain.
Well, hi there, Captain. I understand you bagged something besides fish up at Lime Lake last night.
Now, don't be cute, Hap. That's not funny. That old guy looked like he'd been pushed through a meat grinder sideways. Worst sight I've seen in 15 years on the force.
Say, Marty tells me these Sloan sisters are a real loony trio.
Yeah, 3 of the weirdest zombies I ever saw. I'm driving up to that haunted house this afternoon. I'm going to take the state psychiatrist and a couple of muscle men along with me. I'll clap that Agnes Sloan in a straitjacket.
Oh, now, wait a minute, Captain. It's my theory that Agnes did not murder John Marks.
What'd you say?
Remember those ashes we saw in the fireplace?
Yeah.
Well, that fireplace hadn't been used in years. Yet those fresh ashes would make up just about the size of a good legal document.
So what?
So I paid the late John Marks, the attorney at law, and went to his office, and I persuaded the secretary to let me take a peek at the Sloan files.
And?
And I came up with these. This is a copy of the mortgage on the Sloan house, and a letter from the bank foreclosing next week, and the last will and testament of one Andrew Sloan, the father of the 3 zombies from Lime Lake.
Come on, get to the point.
Well, now, old man Stevens left all his money to the daughters, but realizing that they were a little peculiar, he appointed John Marks as the guardian.
Well, what's so unusual about that?
Now, look, he knew he didn't have enough money for the women for the rest of their lives, so he provided a $50,000 life insurance policy on the life of John Marks.
And the 3 daughters became the beneficiaries, eh?
Exactly, Captain, and he figured, you see, that the old boy would just pop off about the time that the estate petered out.
Oh, look here, what are you trying to do, Kane? Make a homicide out of a simple murder?
No, far be it from me, Captain.
Excuse me, Skin,
Yes.
before you left for Lime Lake. The autopsy report on John Birch just came through.
What autopsy report? I didn't order any autopsy.
Well, I called the sergeant from Marks's office. It was my idea,
Oh,
Captain.
your idea. Yeah,
Yes.
I might have known that you would
What?
try to complicate this affair. Let's see what
What?
this is. Red jumping skittlefish. What is this? Death was caused by a lethal dose of hydrocyanic acid. The body was mutilated shortly after death occurred. Oh, no. Don't tell me I've got to go up there and match wits with those 3 batty old dames.
I'm afraid so, Captain.
All right. Come on, let's get started.
Yes, sir.
See ya, Hap.
So long, Sergeant.
Yes, there's no doubt about it, Captain Burke. Even a novice can plainly see that the fingerprints on that bottle of poison belong to Agnes Sloan.
All right, Marty, what do you say about that?
Well, 2 things, Captain. First, I don't think Agnes has the mentality to use that bottle, even if she knew what was in it. And take a look at the bottle. It's wiped clean. No dust on it at all.
Well, Mr. Oh, I see. You mean your theory is that one of the other sisters slipped the poison into Mr. Mark's tea, then wiped the bottle clean of all fingerprints, and then somehow got Agnes to handle it.
Yes, says 5 will get you 50. That's just about what happened.
Oh, well, what about the carving job on the old man? No sane person would have done that, Kane.
I think you'll find, Captain, that either Agnes or Lydia carved up the old man, and then, after the job was done, put the knife into Agnes's hands. I also think that you'll find that one of those two sisters is as dangerous. As a matter of fact, dangerously insane more than Agnes.
Father's will. Oh, yes. I seem to remember Mr. Marks mentioning it the last time he was here. Or was it the time before? Well, I must ask him when he comes again.
But you confess that you did know about the insurance policy on Mr. Marks' life.
Well, it seems to me that Father mentioned it. Or was it Mr. Marks? Or was it you, Captain?
Oh, never mind. Did any of you know about that insurance policy, Miss Lydia?
Oh, no. Neither Sarah nor I read the will. So that makes your theory about Mr. Marks' death quite absurd, Captain.
What about these ashes in here? What were they?
Oh, that must have been Agnes. Poor Agnes. Probably found a match and set fire to some paper. And like a good girl, she used the fireplace. Not like a good girl.
We're getting nowhere here fast, Kane.
Captain, lend me the knife and the bottle. Maybe we can get Agnes to help us.
Yeah.
Now, don't be afraid, Agnes. I just want to return your playthings. You lost them, you know, Agnes. Come on. You lost them, Agnes. Now, you should return them to your sister. You don't want to be punished, do you? Locked in a room. Come on now, Agnes. Return the playthings. Go ahead now. Give them to the sister who gave them to you. Go ahead, Agnes. Go on.
No, wretch! Oh, little wretch!
I won't let you harm Agnes. It's for you, Sarah.
You put them up to this. You saw me do it. You told them.
No, Lydia, no.
You cheated me out of Father's room. Now you want the whole house to yourself. But you shan't have it. Oh, you shan't have it.
Hold it.
Stop her. Stop her.
Sergeant, keep your eye on her.
All right, Miss Sarah, come back. Come back, Miss Sarah. She's not going to... Come back and sit down now. Take it easy. Take it easy. She's not going to destroy your painting. Take it easy. Now, take it easy. Sit down here. Sit down. Just keep it quiet.
Not tonight, Miss Sloan.
Look out, Captain. She's out of this world.
All right, I don't want
Put
to
her in
hurt
her
her.
locker after it. Give it to me, Lydia. Give it to me.
Boy, what a way to make a living.
They're happy. The Sloan sisters are comfortably settled in a home upstate where all three are going to get kind and sympathetic care.
Boy, oh boy, another second, that maniac would have driven the knife through Martin's chest.
Yeah, it was sure a close call, all right.
Boys, open the door. Here I come.
Captain Burke!
Oh, gravy, what's this?
Well, I'm going trout fishing with Marty and the sergeant.
Trout fishing. Say, Captain, have you ever seen a trout?
Well, they come pretty big, you know. You got to be prepared.
That's a good motto. That's a good motto, Captain. Be prepared, you know. Tommy, do you think that reel is sturdy enough to catch a 1-pound trout?
A 1 pound. Well, after the fish stories you've been telling me, I thought this thing might be a little bit frail. You told me...
Now, all
that
right, this is where we came in. Gentlemen, anglers, shall we go to the fishing grounds? All right, squash left, forward
fishing
march.
grounds.
Adios. Good night. Happy? Good night, Happy. Good night, folks.